Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. We have a great presentation for you this afternoon. Hopefully we'll be done within an hour. We only have 3 presenters today. Anyone having any problems should immediately call my office and ask for assistance. So I get involved with people in the industry, getting them organized, selecting the proper business entity that they should use, whether a corporation or an LLC, and doing agreements between partners. And then the next step I do is provide contracts to the industry, which you all probably know by now. And then I don't really get involved too much until there's collections or defense cases or buy-sells. But one of the processes that I skip over, and which we're going to be hearing about today, is how you get customers. We call them subscribers in this industry, but that's the topic of today, and we've got 3 experts that assist you in the alarm and security industry in learning how to properly market yourself and make yourself different than all your competitors, which is what you need to be very often in order to compete in today's fast-moving markets. So today's first presenter is Bob Harris, and hopefully he's on. And I know the screen looks a little weird on top, but that's just the way it came out. What it really says is what makes doing business with your company any different. But I guess what we've actually posted is different. But I'm going to turn this over now to Bob Harris, and look forward to his presentation. Bob, are you there?
Ken, good morning, good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Go right ahead. You're on.
Terrific. Well, I am delighted to be here. I'd like to say good day to you, and thank you for joining us. I'm excited to have my 10 minutes here to present some thoughts, hopefully some thought-provoking ideas that will help you with your business. You know, in our industry, it's interesting, but kind of 3 things that we typically don't do that we really need to consider doing are training and education on sales, customer service, and marketing. 3 components that are very, very important. And so I'd like to start today by asking you a question, and the question is on your screen. What is it that makes you so different than everyone you're competing against? You can see there's a racetrack. There you are in the middle lane there, sort of, and you've got the most common competitive sort of models that we use in our interest. Going from top to bottom, it's price, product, name recognition, service, technology, and response. And isn't it interesting, though, that we're all sort of competing on these criteria when really the focus needs to be on that center aisle, you. Response. I hear people talk about response as their significant competitive advantage. And is it really? Well, you tell me. Technology. We use state-of-the-art technology. Our service is so stellar that nobody can compete with us. We have a recognized brand name or a national name, and that's why you should do business with us. Our products are so superior that you have no choice but to do business with us. Really, seriously, are we not all using the same products? Typically, if we're reliable and we have any degree of a diligence, is our service not really good? Technology, is anybody really competing on technology more state-of-the-art than the other? And then response time. Well, that's certainly critical, but I don't know. Can we get the cops there any quicker than anybody else, really? You know, I saw a company that said that their response was so fast that when every minute really mattered, they are just seconds away. And then you've got price. So let's talk about price, because everybody is competing on price today, it seems. And my question to you is, are you the lowest price provider in your market? I mean, since there can only be one, are you it? And if you're not, how can you honestly compete on price? Because the second you do, somebody comes along and they're $5 a month cheaper than you, you're going to lose customers. So the point is that I think that when I shop companies and when I work with clients in the industry, I often hear on the phone when we call up, say, to get a quote, people say, hey, I want to tell you why you should do business with us because we're the cheapest. We're the lowest price provider in this area. You can't find a better price. And really, I wonder if that is the most effective way to market your business. Next slide, please. This is some contact information for me. This is what I do. Those of you who're not familiar with Attrition Busters, I go in and I work with companies. I work with third-party centrals if they have me for their dealers. I work with private security and integration companies, working with some manufacturers. And what we do is we come in and we stir the pot. We stimulate some enthusiasm throughout an organization or any type of recurring revenue model business. And we say, hey, man, there's much more to compete against, to compete on, to differentiate yourself than those criteria you saw on the racetrack slide, certainly more so than price. So go ahead and switch to the next one. Let's talk about local reputation. And these are things really I think we need to focus on very, very clearly today. Because a lot of people are leaving, they're walking right over wads of cash on the ground, and they're never even looking down to pick it up. So local reputation really does drive choice. You know that customers are more likely to accept other products they have already associated with our company's core offering. Let me ask you this, and consider this seriously. Would your customers buy a refrigerator from you? Probably not. And would you buy a refrigerator, let's just say, from your cable provider? Probably not. So what concerns me is, why are your customers buying security products from their cable provider? What's that got to do with cable? Why are they buying security products and services from their cable provider instead of from you? Well, that's exactly what I do. I come in and we show you why they're doing that and how to stop the bleeding, how to cauterize the hemorrhage. Because I'll tell you something, our customers are flying out the window faster than anything because the cable companies have gotten very clever, and these telecoms have gotten very clever on how to literally steal our core offerings. Well, customers are much more likely to accept other products they already associate with your company's core offerings. Second part of that is, in terms of local reputation driving choices, that every single employee differentiates your company and should be selling your service to everybody they know. So whether it's the company operator or it's maybe it's a field technician, whoever customers come in contact with, that employee has a unique ability to differentiate your company from everybody else just by the way they respond and react with the customer. Not only that, I can tell you from personal experience, when I've gone out over the years, it's happened to me, we used to frequent a restaurant very often. All my employees did. We all went there. We went there. And nobody ever told the owner of the company what we did. The same was true with my dry cleaner. I see this all the time. We go out and we frequent and we patronize different establishments. Well, I was walking in this restaurant every day, and there was a national provider sticker on that window. I never even looked at it, never thought of it. Why the heck not? So when I went in and told the guy what I did, hey, well, I'm with the alarm company right down the street here. Would you have any, are you, delighted with the service you get from your company? No, not particularly. Well, come on. Would you consider going to business, having me come in and do your security? And he said, of course I would. All our employees were in there every day. We're leaving so much on the table, it's ridiculous. And every employee has not just an opportunity, but an obligation to differentiate you just by the way they speak, by their enthusiasm and their energy. And finally on this, so unless we continue to stir the pot, just like a pot of soup on the stove, you have to stir it. If we fail to stir the pot and lead, push, stimulate, invigorate, motivate our team to embrace change and to get back into the game and bring it, we are leaving tons of low-hanging fruit on the table. And in a recurring revenue model, sales model business, industry, it's devastating. It really is, and most people don't even recognize it. Go ahead, next slide, please. So the question is your team capable of more? And the fact is that enthusiasm alone helps differentiate you from just about everybody else. So number one here is whether employees have 30 minutes or 30 years. It doesn't matter if they're brand new, if they're seasoned veterans. Keeping the pot stirred with frequent education that leads, inspires, motivates, reinvigorates, and helps them solve challenges, it restores their enthusiasm. There's nothing worse than a company culture full of people covering their butt and walking around like a horse with blinders on. This is what we do, this is how we do it, this is how we've always done it, and this is how it's always going to be. Big mistake. Number two, enthusiastic, well-trained employees possess a sense of urgency, and that shores up the front line of a tactical competitive advantage. And that competitive advantage on a local level, man, is word of mouth. Is your team capable of more? Next slide, please. So the most successful advertising vehicle on the local level, bar none, is word of mouth. Always was, always will be. In this case, that's the truth. Nobody can toot your horn better than a delighted customer. So really, today, local reputation drives choice if you market your business that way. Number two is a big one. And I'm guilty of it just as much as anybody else, but your yard signs and stickers are your most cost-effective advertising presence. Hey, how does yours look? I have to tell you, I've driven past countless clients on the way to their office. I see horrible, broken, faded, cracked lawn signs. And I know for a fact that the owner of that company, that the service techs, that their salespeople, their front office employees, they're driving that same way every day too, yet they're leaving the yard signs to look horrible. That's your most cost-effective advertising presence. So again, how do yours look? Number three, motivated consumers today are not nearly as influenced by price as much as they are by money well spent. We have so many terrific opportunities with managed access. We have all of these interactive services. Money well spent is the key today. It's not low price. It's an investment in making their life better and having a trusted provider to offer the service that they can rely on. Continuous education, and I mean from the top down, okay? You know the old saying, something always rolls from the top down? Well, this is true here too. If ownership isn't into it, it's just not going to happen by itself. Continuous education from the top down leads to increased sales and decreased attrition. Go ahead, next slide, please. So here's three questions, and simply put, how passionate is your pursuit? What makes your company and your team unique? And are you capable of more? The fact that you're doing no training or education on sales, customer service, or marketing is costing you money. You think you're saving money, but it's costing you a bloody fortune. So if you take anything away from this today, let me just offer you this recommendation. Go back to your team and make a list of everything that you guys can think of collectively that makes your company and your team unique. Why you really believe in your company, in your coworkers, and if you didn't, you would work somewhere else. At the end of the day, the compelling argument that differentiates you has to be so compelling and so meaningful that that your client or your prospect, your subscriber, can go see 5 other guys, but they just can't shake you out of their head. Next slide. Here's my contact information again. I would be delighted if you give me a call, and I would love to talk with you about ways we can really stir the pot at your company, help diffuse angry customers, turn around and save customers that you think are untenable. So many people think that customer cancellations, oh, we don't use it or we can't afford it. Those are not unsavable cancellation reasons. We've had great success turning those around. Every customer you save saves you a fortune and actually puts money right in your pocket. So go ahead. You can switch to the next one. My time is up, but I am very grateful for your attention today, and I look forward to speaking with you and helping your company in any way I can. Thanks so much.
Bob, before I let you go, I'm not letting you off the hook so fast.
All right. What do you got?
What separates you from the other marketing companies? Why is someone going to call you? I know you're in California, but I'm sure you cover the entire country. Is that right?
I do. We're actually all over the place, in North America and Europe and Asia. And,
so how does someone get involved with you, actually? What is the usual transaction that you get involved with? Is there a retainer? Do you get on board for one meeting, 10 meetings? You hang around for 6 months for somebody? How does it work?
Typically what happens is somebody will call me who's interested in really stirring the pot and restoring organizational enthusiasm, or maybe stopping the hemorrhage of an attrition issue, or maybe helping their salesman. I can roll up my sleeves and go right into the trenches with their sales team and show ways to not undersell, not oversell, but close the deal in one-stop sale. So what they do is they'll call me, we'll talk about their specific issues. Maybe they want help overcoming their toughest challenges. So I come in with a seminar and a workshop program. I'll come into their company. If it's an individual basis, I'll tell you right now, if you guys get on the horn and you want to do it and you have a third-party central, it's very helpful if in their dealer meetings, your third-party central station hires me to come in and stir the pot with you. Other ways are through manufacturers events. State industry association events have me out all the time. It depends what the specific need is. I can come and I can work with you repeatedly, or we can do a one-time shot just to stir the pot and get the ball rolling.
If an alarm dealer gives you a call, or a central station gives you a call, they want to increase their customer base of dealers, or a dealer gets in touch with you, he wants to increase his market share of alarm subscribers. This may be an unfair question, and if it is, just tell me. Do you have a ballpark figure of what someone's looking at when they get in touch with you?
Yeah, I mean, it all depends what they want. I'm one of the last kind of idiots, if you will, that'll stand there and do multiple 4-hour sessions in one day. I can do like an 8 to 12 and a 1 to 5. I can do 3 2-hour programs. So typically it's by the day. It depends on the geographic location, and it depends on the scope of work. And so there's a litany of affordable. I keep it very affordable because when I'm working with our industry, it's affordable. When I go out and I work with the cables, or I work with some of the telecoms or the food service industry, all these different recurring revenue model industries, I charge a little more. The reason I keep it more reasonable in the alarm business is because this is where I come from since I'm 15 years old. And so I'm an alarm guy, and I know the business like the back of my hand, and I know what it takes to make a difference.
Let me ask you 2 questions, and let's try and keep it to, got 60 seconds left.
Yeah.
What do you perceive as one of the most common mistakes company management makes that undermines their marketing efforts?
Yeah, bar none, I'd have to say failing to capitalize on local reputation. The most successful advertising campaign is word of mouth, and continuing to procrastinate on embracing change, localizing and targeting your marketing efforts. It's the most cost-effective advertising vehicle or lawn signs, and far too often we drive right past broken ones.
Can you point to something that's commonly overlooked in terms of effective local marketing strategy?
Without question, I'd have to say, Ken, it's missed opportunities during sales calls. Any sales-based recurring revenue model business that fails to invest anything at all in sales, marketing, and customer service training not just for salespeople, but for every employee in the company, is leaving thousands of dollars on the table for others to pick up. And Ken, I see this happening every day.
Well, thanks a lot. Those of you that want to get in touch with Bob, you can find him on the Alarm Exchange. His contact information is, of course, as well as right on the screen in front of you. So, Bob, I want to thank you. Maybe hang around. I don't know if we're going to have any time at the end or not, but you should hang around and see what your other marketing people have to say. Maybe you'll learn something. Okay, I'm now going to be introducing the security marketing guru, Bob Munzel, who I had the pleasure of meeting at one of our some convention somewhere. We wound up standing next to each other, and both of us agreed that we were legends in our own mind. Right, Bob?
Hi, Ken. It's Bob Munsell. Can you hear me?
No, you got to get a lot closer to your mic than that.
Can you hear me?
Well, a little better, but I'd get a little closer if I were you.
Alice, give me a headset real quick.
Well, the mic's yours, so...
can you hear me?
Is that the closest you can get to your phone?
Yeah. Can you hear me right now?
Yeah.
Is it good quality audio?
Not great. It's okay. I'm sure we're going to start getting some complaints any minute.
Okay. Hold on 1 second. Alice, grab me that headset real quick. Can we just have a USB one?
That sounds like it might be a little bit better.
Ken, can you hear me?
Yeah. You sure you don't want to call
Hello?
back on a phone line?
Ken?
What are you on, a Magic Jack? All right, well, let's go. Let's see how it goes.
Okay, Ken, you ready? It's Bob Munsell, the Security Marketing Guru, and we are going to talk today about creating a security selling system that will smoke your competition. Okay, Ken, next slide, please. Okay, what is needed is a dynamic shift in thinking. The money is in the marketing of the security systems, not in the installations of security systems. You need to have this dynamic shift in thinking. It's not the technical know-how, it's the marketing know-how that will make your security business very profitable. I know a lot of great security installers out there that are dead broke. They can do the technical aspect of it, do the installation, but they can't do the marketing of the business. If you want to be a money player, you'll make this dynamic shift in thinking. You are a sales and marketing company first and foremost. Ken, next slide, please. Okay. Why do people do business with you? The single greatest reason why somebody will do business with you is because they know you personally in a positive light or referred you by a trusted source. I like to call it the KLT factor, people that know, like, and trust you. Like Bobby talked about earlier, leveraging the KLT factor to the 10th degree. And it's really easy to do, and we'll talk about that in my little session I'm doing today. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, what I am all about is creating robotic security selling strategies that work 24/7, 365. Personally, I think manual selling sucks. It's a 9-to-5 job, and if you're going to get up every day and pound the pavement, I mean, that's going to break your spirit, zap your energy, and just really make you a hard life. But if you can create a robotic security selling system within your business that educates, nurtures, soft sells your products and services and all your communications, you will have clients that are pre-qualified, pre-sold, and pre-motivated to do business with you. And I like to say that And I hear security dealers, security integrators all the time say, like, my clients are cheapskates. Well, sorry to say, you attracted those cheapskates into your funnel through offering low pricing. And people will pay a heck of a lot more money if you give them a great value proposition for their money. And while I'm talking today, you want to take a lot of notes. You want to write a lot of things down. And one of my favorite quotes that I like to say is that your ability to charge is based on your ability to sell. Your ability to charge is based on your ability to sell. Okay, next slide, please. Okay. You build your security business on marketing pillars. This is the Parthenon approach, and there was a great marketing guy by the name of James Abraham that I learned this strategy from probably 20 years ago. And I'm not one of these guys that like to chase shiny objects. And I think there's a lot of people out there that like to chase the next shiny widget. But what I'm going to go over today is marketing principles that worked 50 years ago and that are going to work 50 years from now. Because if you don't understand strategy, it doesn't matter. Because you have to be sound in strategy, because it's all about persuasion, getting people to give you their money. And you have to understand persuasion and then apply it to technology. Autoresponders, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. You need to know psychology more than you need to know the social media stuff that's out there today. And today, we're going to take a look at basically the marketing system of a typical security installer. Next slide, please, Ken. Okay. Word of mouth sales. I know 1,500 ways to increase referrals for people. One thing about referrals, it's a great way. It costs you next to nothing, but it's really hard to scale your business just on word of mouth alone. We love getting referrals. We like getting referrals for our clients, our security dealers, our integrators, but with word of mouth, it's only going to go so far. You really need other pillars within your business. And if you look at this, when you just have one Parthenon, one pillar in your business, and that word of mouth referral source dries up, your house is going to come crashing down. And what happens with that one approach, it becomes less effective. Your business becomes less stable. Your revenue drops, and you go out of business. And that's really a sad thing, because there's a lot of really great people in this industry, and all they know is word of mouth sales. It's very easy today to add pillars to your business and make it effective, stable, that can withstand really a hurricane. Ken, next slide, please. And look at this. Your house is starting to stand up because you have a second pillar in there. You know, the stability of your business as you begin the process of formalizing your market centers. You have that word of mouth pillar. Then you have a client newsletter. And if you want to be perceived as a security expert, security guru in your local market, you need to have a printed offline newsletter that goes out into the mailbox at least every month or every quarter that educates, soft sells, and pre-motivates your clients about all the products that you can offer them. And I like to say newsletters are one of the best ways to soften the beachhead for future sales. Next slide, please, Ken. And see, look at that. Look at the more pillars you add, the more stability you have, and the more profitable your business will be. We have 4 pillars right in front of us now. Word of mouth, client newsletters, direct mail sales letters, SEO websites, and social media. You can have these in play that can work 24/7, 365 for you. A sales rep works 9 to 5, but robotic security selling strategies will work even while you're sleeping. I know there's a lot of people that are against direct mail, but one of the best ways to attract residential clients today is with direct mail, because all your competitors are investing their time in SEO and pay-per-clicks, and I think that's really good. You have to do everything, but if you really want to sneak up on new clients and new prospects, the best thing to do is direct mail. Freestanding inserts in your local newspapers are a great way to reach new residential prospects, not only residential intrusion prospects, but also PRR clients. Next slide, please, Ken. And I like to say, if you need new clients for your security business, just don't do one thing, do a dozen things. Next slide. Next slide, please. Okay. If you implement this type of marketing strategies within your business, you don't have to worry about Xfinity, you don't have to worry about Comcast, you don't have to worry about any of the big players, because you are going to be omnipresent in your local market. You have client newsletters and electronic newsletters that are going out. You have a referral system. You have free recorded messages. Free recorded messages are a great way to educate your clients. Say you have somebody that calls up your office and they're questioning, like, why does it cost so much? Why waste your time with them? Have them call an 800 number where you can take a pre-recorded message and educate your clients as to, and prospects, why they need a fully functional, working security system. A thank you card system. Everybody should have that. You know, you should be doing residential and security audits within your business. Free PR is a great way to leverage your local dealer presence. Consumer awareness guides and free reports. People are saying, oh, you know, people always want to know the bias. They want to buy the cheapest stuff. I disagree. If you properly educate your prospect, they will buy more. Joint ventures, joint venture partnerships. Who are great joint venture partnerships for the security industry? Electrical contractors, locksmiths, plumbers, best guys, carpet cleaners, anybody that has like-minded clients. It would be a great way. We have joint venture letters that our members use to go out there and do joint venture with IT professionals. And it's a great way, it's a low-cost way to get access to other people's database, because if I do an endorsed mailing for another company, they're taking that KLT factor of me, and it just says, like, yeah, Bob says that this is a good company to use, and you should go ahead and use them. And if you need the service, they'll give you a call. Joint venture marketing is awesome. Direct mail sales letters is a great tool to use. I was at ISC West a couple months ago, and I was looking at all the new exotic technology that was out there. It was amazing. It was mind-blowing, actually. And what I was thinking is that, like, to myself, is that people really aren't even searching for some of these security technologies that are out there, and that's the purpose of having a multi-page sales letter that can go out there to a local niche market. And I like to say that there's riches and niches, and if you can understand that philosophy, you know, riches and niches. Say you do commercial security systems, and one of your target markets is 100,000 square feet warehouses. Don't they need remote video monitoring? Don't they need perimeter detection? And with this, you could send a multi-sequence sales letter to the facility manager and also the owner of the company. It's a great way to sync up with that and get their attention, because a lot of times people aren't even looking for the stuff online, but once you educate them with a letter, it's a great way. And then if you want to do it online, you could create micro pages where you have landing pages to do that also. And also, too, you know, if you're not sending out holiday postcards to your clients, shame on you. You have to stay in front of your clients and become omnipresent. Omnipresent, they think about you all the time. And you want to become one of these local security legends where people are talking about you all the time. You become that person that they talk about around the water cooler, because people lead really boring lives, and it's one thing if you can show up and entertain them, and you stop being about security but become a personality, and your business is security. I mean, it's a great way to leverage everything you do. And the other thing, the last pillar is, you know, you got to definitely have a killer online presence. You have to have a website that kicks ass with SEO. You need to be on social media. You need to have your Google Plus page, and you know, everybody should have a local Google Plus page today. It's a no-brainer. Next page, please, Ken. Okay, and I've got some free gifts for you because you're on Ken's email list. And Ken does an outstanding job of educating the marketplace about everything that he does with the legal industry. And I like to talk about, like, education-based security marketing. And what Ken Kirschenbaum, in my opinion, does, he does outstanding education-based security marketing, always educating, always showing up. We know who Ken is, and that's why you're on this call today, because you know, like, and trust Ken. And I got a couple of things I'd like you to do. You should go to my website, Security Marketing Guru, and sign up for my free 5-day video e-course, 10 Steps to Selling at Higher Prices than Your Competition. And it will walk you through 10 different areas that you can use to increase your knowledge increase your profits. And the next thing I'd like to do is I'd like to send you out some free business building reports on how to really grow your business. Go to securitymarketingguru.com under the category free reports. And if you are a legitimate security company and you are the owner of the business, we will send out these free reports to you. And I'd like to also do is I'd like to give you a couple of things. If you send my office an email, support@securitymarketingguru.com, I'll send you out some more information. I'll send you out a video, 8 ways to create a dirt cheap sales funnel, and I'll also send you out an audio, 5 ways to spike your income. And these are both, this video and this audio is great stuff that can, you know, get you some income right away for next to nothing. And also too, and if you do sign up for the free reports, I did an audio success CD with Ken maybe about 8 months ago. It was outstanding. And within that audio from Ken, he really lays out his secret sauce. And if you're going to sign up for this, I'd really like to get your hands on this, because this is Ken's secret on why he's so successful too. Ken, I'm done. Thank you.
I'll let you go. We have a couple of questions that came in. Hopefully we can take care of them in a minute or so. The first one is, what about targeted emails? That's the question.
Okay, that is a great question. I think, can the people hear me, Ken, that I'm talking to?
Well, obviously,
okay.
Yeah, I'm having trouble hearing you, but I haven't had any complaints yet.
Okay, with targeted emails, they're expensive, to be honest with you. It's $2 per email last time I checked, and you can buy a list of names to a niche market for, you know, 20 to 40 cents. Then you could put a stamp on that, a first-class stamp, if you will, for another 44 cents. Then you could get a dirt cheap postcard for another couple of cents. So for, under $1, you can send a postcard to your targeted list, whatever that might be, and have a better impact than email. And trust me, Ken, I love doing email. But if I was looking to sell my products and services, I would use a postcard. And then set them up, take that postcard and drive them online, capture their email address.
The next question we have is, what about market research, specifically customer perception research? Shouldn't that be a major component of any good marketing plan?
Of course. Yeah, you should be following up with your clients. Do it right after the installation. A week after the installation, your girl in your office, somebody should be calling up and asking your client, how was the installation? How did the technicians treat you? They should be doing that too. But then also, your technicians, and we have our members do that, they do surveys on their iPads, and they also do paper and ink surveys on how the installation went. And it's a great way to collect testimonials. Oh yeah, of course. That's outstanding.
Bob, thanks, and I hope someone can hear me now because there's construction going on outside my window. Bob, I want to thank you so much for participating today, and maybe you'll hang around and listen to what David has to say. David is our last presenter, and also is involved in marketing alarm companies, obviously, which is why he's presenting, and hopefully he's there ready to go. David?
Ken, you able to hear me?
Okay. Yeah, you're on and you're up.
Great. Well, thank you very much. Well, before I get started, I want to say thank you for allowing us to participate in this. And both Bobs did a great job. There's a lot of great key takeaways, I think, that I've taken away. And Bob Monsell, haven't had the opportunity to work, but I definitely look forward to our two organizations collaborating together. And the one thing that I just want to reinforce is it is incredibly important to diversify your marketing. And I think the pillars analogy is a great one that stuck very well with me. So great, it's very, very great. And Bob Harris, I've known for quite some time, and I will highly, highly, highly recommend reaching out to Bob. Bob's got some great, I'm sure as you can tell, he's got some great insight, a lot of experience, and he can help you get things done right the first time. And it's all about key differentiators and not leaving money on the table. So with that said, just transitioning into ourselves, we're a security dealer marketing is a full-service marketing agency. If you don't mind just heading back one slide, Ken, I'd appreciate that. We're a full-service marketing agency that only works with security companies. And what does that mean? Why is that important? I'll jump into that in just a moment. But a little bit of history on ourselves, and just so everyone's clear, my business partner, our president, Alex, is here as well, and he may jump in from time to time just to make sure I'm being kept in line here. So we as a business have been in the industry, and we're coming on 3 years, and when we first started about 3 years ago, we figured we'd give this a year and see as to how things went. And I've got to tell you, the response that we've received over the last 2.5, 3 years has been remarkable. There's nothing like feedback from customers stating, where have you been all these years? I wish I would have found you years ago because I wouldn't have made all the mistakes that I've made. This industry, I'm sure as we all know, is the biggest, it's the smallest, biggest industry that's out there, and we're really, really excited and happy to be a part of it. A little bit of background on Alex and myself. Alex has a heavy background in brand and marketing and design, and he's worked with a lot of nationally recognized, some of the biggest name brands in the country, including like Hard Rock Hotel, Ed Hardy, MTV, Caesar's Palace, just to name a few. And myself, I've done marketing for some rather big folks as well, like Guthrie Ranker, Pearl Flowers, Experience, Free Credit Report, just to name a few. And we've been doing marketing collectively for over 30 years. And individually, we've been doing marketing since before Google was around. If you don't mind, now jump to the next slide, please, Ken. One thing I just want to really quickly touch on is we only work within, and we only focus on the security industry. So that means if you're not in the security industry, we won't take you on as a client, whether you're a restaurant, a dentist, a salon, or what have you. The reason why that's incredibly important is because all of our R&D, all of our research only goes into exactly what it is that helps to make your customers tick and make your customers buy. And everyone can use, if you don't mind jumping to the next slide, please, Ken. Everyone can use our services, whether you're a business you're a security business that's just getting started, or you're a well-established business that has an in-house marketing team. We can help to improve your RMR. And I'll show you a couple of examples here when we get to the meat of things here in just a moment on those. If you don't mind going to the next slide, please, Ken. We're very, very active in the security industry, and whether it's ISC West over the last few years, ESX, a lot of the local associations. We're based here in California, but we work with companies all over the country. We're very, very good friends with PSA, and we've been at PSA Tech the last couple of years. We're frequently asked to speak on specific marketing topics. We've done webinars. We also send out newsletters to thousands of industry professionals on a monthly basis. We're very, very, very active, and it's incredibly important because the key relationships with manufacturers is incredibly important. And for example, when we talk about brand here in just a moment, it is not about you're a authorized reseller of XYZ brand. It is all about building your brand in the areas that you service. And it is important to leverage the information that and the tools, whether they're images, whether they're videos, illustrations, and leverage those tools on your marketing collateral so that you're really able to clearly communicate what it is that you do. And if you wouldn't mind just going to the next slide, please, Ken. So we've got the ear of the industry. Typically on a daily basis, anywhere from we're speaking on the average with anywhere from 6 to 10 dealers every single day, all throughout the country. And why is that important? Because we understand what works, and it's incredibly important. Let's make no doubt about it, whether it's for your security or your fire alarm business or a combination thereof. You don't have a big marketing budget. You can't afford to make mistakes. And the disparity between the haves and the have-nots, when you take a look at the SDM Top 100, because we do work with some of the SDM Top 100, as well as companies that are, literally one, two-man shops, it is incredibly important to make sure that you are not making mistakes that are very, very costly. We get told what it is that's working, and we know what it is that's working because of all of the marketing campaigns that it is that we manage. And as a result of this, we've been very, very fortunate in such short time that some of the, if you wouldn't mind going to the next slide, Ken, that some of the industry's biggest names have put their trust in us. You take a look at all of the dealer programs and brands that are being recognized here. They recommend us to their dealers, or in PSA's case, to their integrators as a trusted marketing resource to make sure that we are effectively marketing their security business. And once again, I mean, we're very, very appreciative of these relationships, and we don't take them lightly. If you wouldn't mind just going to the next slide, please, Ken. And why is it that all of these big brands have entrusted us with their dealers and their integrators? Because we understand the trends in marketing. We understand what's working. And recently there's been a paradigm shift. And I'll share with you just a quick story. One of our customers in the East Coast, he referenced something along the lines of, I'm starting to sell systems minus the security, and it's all about just lifestyle. He's had customers that have existing security systems, and rather than trying to force feed the security system, they're basically selling the option to be able just to control the locks, the doors. I know in last week's seminar there was a lot of great information on being able to control systems remotely, interactive services, lifestyle type things. And I definitely truly challenge every single one of you that do residential and light commercial. It is incredibly important to focus on the lifestyle things, whether it's energy management, automation, and all these other things, because these are some of the trends that we're seeing that are working today. And if you wouldn't mind just going off into the next slide, Ken. Now that you've learned a little about ourselves and what separates us from our competition, let's jump into what are some of the things that we think are really going to help generate some more RMR for you. And Bob Harris touched on this. It is really, really important to make sure that you take a look from the inside out. And your logo, your brand, is incredibly important. And when you take a look at your brand or your logo, what is it communicating? Are you proud of your brand? Does it clearly communicate what you do? Is it occasionally we get asked by customers as to what is my brand, is my logo something that you recommend, or do you think I should make some changes? And chances are, if we're getting asked as to whether the brand or the logo needs to have changes made, it needs some help. If you take a look at the two examples here, Go Safer. Go Safer was, well, actually, if you don't mind just saying there. So Go Safer, we really took a lot of thought, and I know I'm getting short on time, so I've got to speed things up here. But with Go Safer, there's a lot of thought put behind their brand. And what they wanted to do is incorporate security, and Go is synonymous with green, of course. There's an arrow pointing towards safer, and there's three arrows pointing towards security. There's a lot of thought. I don't want to spend too much time on that right now. And the same thing holds true with that of the around-the-clock lock and alarm. With around-the-clock lock and alarm, they happen to have multiple brands or versions of their logo, and we're tasked with helping them to have one unison brand. And it's just all about separating yourself from your competition and looking at the, so that initially when someone comes to you, their perception of you is that you can get the job done right the first time. One of the other things that Bob Harris touched on was making sure that all of your staff clearly is communicating what's unique about you and they're properly trained. And for a couple of our customers, one of them is a medium-sized and one of them is actually a rather large commercial systems integrator. We've helped to create a brand management guidebook. And this brand management guidebook is meant to help with recruiting. It's helping to ensure that everyone, all the way down to the accounting representative, to everyone in admin, client services, sales, everyone clearly understands what's the value proposition, what's unique about our security business. You wouldn't mind going on to the next slide, please, Ken? All roads lead to your website. There is an article or a survey that was conducted just a couple of years ago by Security Sales Integration. And as of a couple of years ago, 1 in 5 security businesses didn't even have a website. Mind-blowing, huh? Whether you are getting referrals, whether someone is searching online, whether they receive one of your ads, whenever they're researching you, they're going to go to their favorite search engine and do a search for your business, and what are they seeing? It is so incredibly important to make sure that your brand truly represents what it is that you do. You want to make sure that you have clear call to actions on your website. And I mean, really, it's not just about a nice looking website, it's about a website that's going to generate results and generate leads. The one thing is, because I would imagine there's a lot of commercial businesses here, the one thing that I will strongly recommend is it is incredibly important to make sure that you list the verticals or the services that you market to, and you're conveying the fact that you're a specialist. As an example, let's say you happen to work with critical infrastructure, let's say healthcare. Healthcare is not necessarily just about price, it's about perception to get the job done right the first time. And stating it, having it in black and white, having it in writing that you're a specialist in that particular vertical will help to get you in the front door. If you wouldn't mind going to the next slide. So, whereas Google or the search engines are today's new yellow pages, Facebook is more like a coffee shop. And with the search engines, this is where our customers are now searching to find what it is that we're looking for. They're searching to find what it is that they're looking for. And there are items on your website that they're text-based areas of your website that are more important than others on search engines, so that we have a very, very good understanding as to those particular areas. And within this particular customer, within a couple of weeks, we're able to get first-page rankings for dozens of their words and phrases. And the reason why that's important is because, unlike the yellow pages, whereas maybe there's 2, 3, 4 category headings for you, now with the search engine, there are hundreds of categories. Whether someone is looking for access control, maybe they're looking for a burglar alarm, maybe they're looking for a camera system or what have you. It's incredibly important to make sure that you're showing up in the search engines according to all the services that you provide within the area that you service. In addition to the on-site or some of the text-based areas on your site, there are off-site things as well that will help to make sure that your brand has equity in the eyes of Google and that of the other search engines. And just in finishing up with this, gone are the days of. If you wouldn't mind just going to the last slide, Ken. Gone are, I'm sorry, the second to last slide. Excuse me. Gone are the days of putting the blindfold on, spending money in marketing, and not knowing as to whether your marketing is effective or not effective, or there's a quote from 50 years ago or what have you, stated, I can't remember off the top of my head, but this gentleman stated, I know half my advertising is working. The problem is I don't know which half. And gone are those days. Whether it's tracking phone numbers, tracking on your website, QR code tracking, URL tracking, all of these things can be tracked. And it is incredibly important when you've got scarce marketing dollars to ensure that you know exactly what it is that's happening and how many leads are you generating as a result of a direct mail piece or a search engine optimization campaign or a postcard campaign that's being sent out. So in light of in light of time, if you wouldn't mind just going to the last slide, we're a simple phone call away. There's a lot of other things that didn't get an opportunity to cover in today's call, but any of the questions that you have on as to how things work and what we recommend, we're happy to have these conversations with you. We've got a full team here in Southern California working with security companies all over the country. So I hope that there was a couple of things that were learned in today's webinar. And any questions?
Yeah, David, we have a couple of questions that came in. One is, if you only focus on the security industry, how can you ensure that you're not just providing cookie-cutter idea solutions? And by the way, before you answer that, I want to let both Bobs know. I'm going to unmute them in a minute if they're still here, because I'm going to have a couple of questions, and I'm going to address it to all three of you and see who wants to chime in on it. We'll just spend maybe 5 minutes on that topic if everyone has an interest in hearing it. Let's see. But now you can answer that one question.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, no, great question. So keep in mind, we've been doing marketing for quite some time, and a lot of the principles are the same. It's just the tools that implement them are different. So first and foremost, the extent of our marketing is not specifically just to only security as far as our entire history. But with that said, we are very, very active with local marketing as far as research and networking with other marketing professionals outside of the industry, because you're absolutely right. If we've got our head in the sand and we're only focused on security, how do we know what's working, what's not? And as far as our R&D, when I referenced earlier, our R&D is strictly within security. It's about understanding all of the technologies, how all these work, how do we leverage, all these good things. But we've got a lot of peers and marketing professionals that we network with outside of the industry to make sure that focus in other verticals in that respect, because that's needless to say, it's a great question.
Another question we have is, how important is Better Business Bureau affiliation?
I'm sorry?
They want another question that came in is how important is BBB accreditation in regards to marketing? Better Business Bureau.
Okay, so between us, it's not important, but from our customers' perspective, it's very important. Okay, so BBB, whether it's your manufacturers, whether it's your local chamber of commerce, whether it's the associations, all of these are credibility factors. And perception is incredibly important. Once someone gets on the horn with you, you're able to overcome that perception issue. So we do recommend for you to work with the BBB. Of course, there's technically costs, just like with everything else. Is that number one thing out of the gate that we recommend? No, not necessarily. But we think the BBB is great from the perception perspective. Needless to say, it's incredibly important to ensure that you are following up with any inquiries so that you have the best possible rating. I don't know if either of the Bobs want to touch on that as well.
Oh, I totally agree with what Dave has to say. And one thing, too, everybody that's listening, you should really make an effort to get a lot of Google Plus reviews on your Google Plus page. That's a great way that people that are checking you out can see what your clients think about you. And yeah, I agree with Dave on, you really need to be an ethical, above-board security dealer that is providing, elegant service for your clients and prospects, and you don't have to worry about the Better Business Bureau if you're doing, delivering outstanding service.
If you don't mind me just adding one last thing, keep in mind that it is not just about the BBB anymore. There are websites called like Rip-Off Report and as well as just online reviews. And this is why it's incredibly important to make sure that you are prompting your happy customers to write reviews about what it is that you're doing. So you're controlling what it is that's being seen about you. Many customers, before they make the purchasing decision, they see what others are saying about them. So incredibly, incredibly important.
I just want to add one thing to that real quick. Bob Harris here with Attrition Busters. Wow, I don't know what that noise is, but definitely not me. Anyway, there's an old saying, and that is that good news travels fast and bad news travels faster. That's modified today. When people are delighted with your service and with your company, they're going to tell their friends and they're going to tell their associates. They're going to tell a few people that are close to them. But when they're dissatisfied, they're going to tell everybody. And the internet, social media, and all of these things mean that when good news travels fast, bad news travels everywhere. And that's something that you want to avoid at all costs. And I'll tell you very specifically, the best way to do it is anytime you get a complaint, you address it. Don't bury that under the carpet, and look for ways to avoid it from happening next time.
I have a topic I want to bring up that is on my mind. How advantageous is it to belong to one of these dealer programs that basically, supposedly, takes care of your marketing issues for you? Do any of you have any comments about that?
I'll spout out first. I mean, I've got nothing to. I'm being perfectly transparent here, and I don't see a significant advantage to a local dealer, with the exception of possibly getting better pricing on equipment through the collective of a dealer program. Maybe in a regional player's position, it might be an advantageous partnership. But I have to tell you, it's very, very dependent on that dealer program and what it is they're actually stepping up to do to help you sell your service.
Okay. Anyone else want to comment on that?
I'll chime in on that, being that we have relationships with some of the dealer programs, some of the larger ones. The dealer programs, and some do a much better job than others, will provide and arm tools from the marketing perspective for dealers. Now, keep in mind, it is just like that of the manufacturer. Now, it's up to the individual dealer to take the initiative to leverage that information. And it's our job with our customers to leverage all the tools from that of the dealer program, as well as that of the manufacturer, to really make sure that they're putting their best foot moving forward.
If you sign up for a dealer program, does that mean you can forget about your own marketing efforts and just go along with whatever they provide for you?
I'll take that question. Ken, what I found with dealers that join these programs is that it's very cookie cutter. Everybody looks the same. And we have a coaching marketing program for dealers and integrators. And what we do is we teach, inspire, and educate security dealers how to create their own marketing. And we give them templates that they take to the 10th degree, and they tweak it, and they send it out to their clients, and it brings in lots of money. And I think, there is no better person at marketing in your company than yourself. And it should be your goal in life and business to become the chief marketing officer for your business and learn everything that you can about it, because that's where the money's at, is in marketing your business and learning everything you can. And it's easy to do, and it's easy not to do.
Okay. And if you don't mind me jumping in really quickly, Ken.
Sure.
So here's the thing. I mean, some of the dealers that are just getting started out, of course, needless to say, don't have a brand name. And how are they going to literally get started and help with their brand recognition and legitimize their business? And this is where, like, let's say, for example, Monotronic, which is a big brand name. PSA, as an example, many commercial systems integrators, many of their end users are, they go to the same conferences that a commercial systems integrator goes to. So the fact that an integrator is part of PSA security network is a great benefit because the end user perceives them to be able to get the job done right the first time on some of these large commercial installations. Same thing holds true with some of the others, including like a Mace. Mace is a rather, Mace happens to be a big nationally aware brand and name.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you all three of you, for participating today. I want to remind everybody where they get their alarm contract once they do get a customer, and that's up on your screen. Hopefully I'll hear from all of you. We had a packed house today. Maybe we'll bring back these guys again, give them more time to give away some more free advice, which is what we're all looking for, I suppose, from time to time. You can reach all of them on the Alarm Exchange, find them, and I'm sure that you'll find each of them have their own perspective on an approach on marketing, and I'm sure you could probably benefit from the advice of all of them. So for today, we've gone over a little bit in our time, and I want to thank everybody, participants, and presenters as well. See you next time.
Thanks, Ken.